I don't know what to say, honestly. This is the part where I usually come in here with my usual shtick, but I just can't, you know? Well, if you've clicked on this video, then you probably already know what the subject is, so I'm just gonna get to the meat of the first. I like to how can I put this? I would like to explain myself. Okay, so I go to college around 2003. I have a friend. I met up with a new friend named Kirby. Hope he's watching this, and he has a roommate named John. John gets me onto this little anime called Naruto. I find it interesting. I watch it as much as I can. They got me into watching Naruto. So this subsequently led me to check out the manga, which I read every week for the last 9 or so years. So, if you don't already know, today the last 2 chapters of Naruto, chapters 699 and 700, were released back to back and wrapped up the series. And as you also may have known, there is a lot of backlash from this one. Now, this is a video to explain my own personal feelings on this. If I'm flubbing a lot of words, it's because I just took some Motrin PM for a toothache, so my mind is turning to mud. So if I'm sounding incoherent or rambling, it's because of that. But anyway, now I will say this: I was a Narusaku fan, meaning that I was supporting the ship between Naruto and Sakura. And the reason for I wasn't a big fan of their coupling back in part 1 because Sakura was such an uninteresting, useless, annoying character. But part 2 saw her evolve into a much more well-developed and well-written character. She found something she was good at. Before in part 1 she had no speciality. All the other ninjas of her generation had something they were good at. All Sakura had was that she had a high IQ and she had perfect chakra control. She wasn't particular. She was decent at genjutsu. Her taijutsu was below average, and her ninjutsu was basic. There was nothing that made her stand out. The only thing defining part of her character was the fact that she was hopelessly in love with Sasuke of all people. So I really didn't care for her in part 1. Part 2, she trained under the Hokage, Lady Tsunade, one of the 3 legendary Sannin, and became a medical ninja in her own right. And she was very good at it. A lot of people said she was better than her teacher. And also, she gained a good deal of superhuman strength. She got that freak monster strength. She became a capable character, capable of standing on par with Naruto. They were leading their generation, as it were. These last 2 chapters, I haven't read them, and I don't want to. I've read summaries, I've saw some pics of them, but from what I see, I don't want to get myself upset over this shit. Now, I'm not upset. Now, if you haven't heard, Sakura and Sasuke's coupling their ship is official. Naruto and Hinata's relationship is canon and official as of chapter 700. Now, here's why I have problems with this. Based on what I've seen, it feels like the last 2 chapters were written by an entirely different person than Musashi Kishimoto, the artist and author of Naruto. It feels completely OC, out of character. It takes 100 steps back. Well, for one thing, one of the things that got me is Sasuke pretty much gets a pass for everything that he has done. He has betrayed the village. He has endangered the lives of his fellow classmates when they went to go get him back. Nearly kills Naruto. Joins up with Orochimaru, a terrorist who has sworn to destroy the Hidden Leaf Village, and the man responsible for the death of the third Hokage, one of the most brilliant ninjas to ever come around. He willfully attacked other nations. He has joined multiple criminal organizations for his quest for power. One of his main goals was to destroy Konoha when he learned the truth of Itachi's involvement with the Uchiha massacre. And he wanted to destroy Konoha because of it. He joins up with another wanted criminal who instigates one of the worst wars in the history of the Naruto world. And he just keeps pounding. And as of the last major fight, he imprisoned all of the tailed beasts and wanted to become Hokage by force, because in his view, the Hokage is someone who can shoulder the hatred of all others. And in the end, not only he gets a pass, but he gets the girl. That's right. Sakura says she wanted to go with him. And she ends up pumping out a couple of kids and becomes a housewife. Why does this upset me? It's not just the fact that she went with him. It's the fact that it completely negates all of her character progressions up to this point. Up to this point, her feelings about Sasuke were conflicted. She did still care about him, but just not to the blind love and adoration that she had in part 1. I mean, sure, it was obvious she still cared about him, but not so much that she could just sweep everything he's done under the rug. I mean, she said so herself that when Team 7 rejoined up to face off against Madara and finally that Kaguya bitch, she clearly told Sasuke, "Look, I don't trust you. You could say all you want how much you've changed and how you want to make things better. I still don't trust you from a dick to the hole in the ground because of the shit you pulled." He has tried to kill her on multiple occasions. Outright said that she was an annoyance, an utter annoyance, and even mind jutsu'd her during the last couple of issues. And yet, for some reason, Sakura thinks that just saying sorry makes everything better. This is an extreme disservice to Sakura. I know there are a lot of people bashing Sakura for this, but I'm not bashing Sakura. No, I'm bashing Kishimoto because he wrote her wrong. He took all the development that he promised and delivered with her, and then just threw it out the window. For what? To appease the Sasuke Sakura fangirls out there, to appease the Naruhina bastards out there who wanted to have Naruto hook up with Hinata. This does her a disservice. And what happened to her being the greatest medical ninja of her generation? She went from that to being a housewife. A housewife. A woman who can one-shot summons. Who can fight at least on par with Naruto and Sasuke. A woman whose medical skills and knowledge were said to be superior to that of Lady Tsunade, a woman who was widely regarded as a pioneer in medical ninjutsu. What happened to her? This is also the same Sakura who, for the sake of Naruto, was willing to kill Sasuke, to kill her feelings for him, because in the end, Naruto's desire to save Sasuke and redeem him was hurting him and would eventually probably kill him in the end, which it almost did a couple of times. Did you forget Sakura, that you actually had his heart in your hand? Did you? But no, fuck all that. It's just it does a disservice to her, and it's just a shame that more than 8+ years of character development, 8+ years of complexity, all 8+ years since Shippuden started, all flushed down the drain for no real reason. And it also does a disservice to Naruto. I mean, he's loved you since forever. He's touted you as being awesome, and you leave that to go with emo McFuckbag, a guy who has never once shown you a shred of affection that Naruto has done. Well, it just does it badly. And while I'm at it, let's get to the elephant in the room: Naruto and Hinata hooking up. Now, the reason why I don't like this. All right, let me explain something. When I like ships, for those who don't understand, it's when you put two characters together in romantic situations. It's couplings. There's tons of ships out there. The reason why I don't like Naruhina is the same reason why I don't like Ichigo and Orihime together. Because it's one-sided. I hate one-sided relationships. Let me put in this example. Orihime is a nice girl. She is nice, bubbly, cheerful, and she is gorgeous. But I don't want her with Ichigo. Why? Because she stays in the background too much. Even with what little development she gets, it's not that much. All right, I'll put it to you like this. Orihime, while she admires Ichigo, she doesn't really try to get to know him. She tries to say all the right things to get her to like him, but doesn't say all the right things to get him to like her. As more than a friend. He has expressed really no romantic interest in her whatsoever. He values her as a comrade and a friend, but she's not really that close to him that I could see them having a potential romantic relationship with. Excuse me. She doesn't really know. She knows how heroic he is, but she doesn't know the source of his heroism. The fact that he couldn't save his mother, the fact that it stems from the guilt that he felt when he thought that he caused his mother's death. This heroic syndrome of his stems from his mother's death. That's where it started with him. And the only person he has really talked to about this is Rukia, because Rukia has taken the time to get to know him. That's how their relationship works. And Orihime has even said that she envies Ichigo and envies Rukia because she's so close to Ichigo. She is in a place in his heart where she wishes she could be. And it's true. If Rukia and Ichigo hooked up, I would say I totally saw this coming. Because their relationship was developed. It had structure. It showed that they obviously care a great deal about each other. That's just how it is, and that makes the foundations for an excellent relationship. With Orihime, she doesn't really know Ichigo. She sees only the image of him, but she doesn't know the real thing about him. She doesn't get in there. You know what I mean? So I'm off on a tangent. The same can be true with Hinata. Up until recently, toward the tail end of the war, she really hasn't really done much to get Naruto's attention. And Naruto has never once returned her feelings. Yes, she saved him during the Invasion of Pain arc and said she loved him, but he has not returned those feelings or even discussed them. Ever. And she really hasn't taken the time to get to know Naruto because she's always hiding. She just pines after him. Naruto-kun, Naruto-kun. It's just stupid. That's why I like Narusaku, because it makes sense. Especially in part 2, we saw the progression of their friendship and relationship. Before, Sakura could not stand to be around Naruto because she found him annoying. But the more she spent time around him, she just realized that was just a facade. That was just how he hides his pain. That's how he gains attention. And she saw what kind of person he is. In part 2, that has blossomed into a genuine bond of friendship and trust and love that you see them just bitching around with each other, talking with each other. And eventually, and as through part 2 progressed, you could see that Sakura's feelings for Sasuke were getting conflicted, while her feelings for Naruto were getting stronger. She was seeing who he really was, and she presumably liked who he really was. Hinata never once took the time out to get to know him, to understand why the village shunned him, why he feels the need to become Hokage, why he is driven to do the things he is driven, or the pains he has gone through, or the suffering that he's endured. Where was she when Jiraiya died, the man who was his godfather, the father figure he never had? Where was she? Where was she with a shoulder to cry on? She was still just stalking his ass, looking behind a tree or feigning whenever he is near. She didn't really get to know him, and even during the war and leading up to this, there's not a single bit of proper dialogue between them to suggest that there should be a relationship built around them. So, and Kishimoto doesn't even give us that. He doesn't give us any of the meat that we require for a relationship like Hinata and Naruto to work. And this is reflected in the subsequent chapter 700, where we flash forward into the future to see all their children, who look goddamn ugly, by the way. Naruto doesn't seem all that happy with his life. His son acts out because his father is neglectful. Now, I've heard a lot of people make parallels between Naruto being a dad and Aang being a dad. Now, I'm not saying that Aang was a bad father. He was just a slightly neglectful father to his other children, other than Tenzin. It doesn't say he was a bad father. It's just he wasn't a good one. And they kind of his other two children kind of resent him for it. Now, Naruto, a boy who grew up never knowing his parents, an orphan, would treat his son in such a way, who acts like a total brat because his father neglects him. That's sad right there. Sakura's even worse shape. She went from being a promising medical ninja to a housewife for a husband who's not even there, who wanders around the world and comes back occasionally to knock her up. She has become a fuck sleeve for Sasuke, which is, I'm not saying that's all. I mean, I know a lot of Sakura Sasuke fans out there think their argument is, well, Sakura can change him for the better. If Sasuke was really better, he would stick around and make sure his kids didn't end up screwed up like he did. But these last two chapters, pretty much, I'm not saying that they're the most terrible thing ever written. I'm just saying I'm sorely disappointed. It could have been done so much better. Instead, I felt like I was looking at something out of a bad fanfic. And speaking as a fanfiction author, I have read a good deal of bad fanfiction in all conceivable forms and shows and movies and books. I've read them all. I've read a lot. And this feels like a fanfic. It feels like Kishimoto left the room before starting on the last two chapters, and then some random Naruhina Sasuke Sakura fan just came in, wrote out some scenes, typed out the dialogue, and then just put it to the publisher. And Kishimoto didn't know it. That's the only explanation I can say, because other than that, this ending was terrible. And I'm not saying it because the couple I wanted to get together didn't happen. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying it because it was badly written. It shit the bed. It screwed the pooch. Kishimoto, and there's little to no resolution to any of the unsolved questions that we had leading up to the end. We just get a bunch of the characters mindlessly hooking up and having a bunch of kids. You don't treat your fans like this. I mean, look at Inichiro Oda, the author of One Piece, my all-time favorite manga and anime series. He doesn't insult the intelligence of his audience or his readers. And he is so closely connected to his fans with the SBS editions after each volume, where he answers questions, even the stupidest ones like, what does Buggy's hair look like when he has a helmet? What did the four warlords? What did the seven warlords look like when they were kids? Or how about if Kaku and Khalifa switched devil fruit powers? How would they look? How would they act? Those kind of questions shows a dedication to not only your work but the fans in general. Kishimoto, with this chapter, has shown that he doesn't care about the fans, and that somehow he just chose to fuck us over. Now, like I said, I'm not saying this. I'm not saying it's bad because Naruto and Sakura didn't end up together. I'm not saying it's bad that Sakura is treated as is hooked up with Sasuke regardless of all the things he's done. I'm not saying it's bad because Hinata and Naruto are hooked up with very little to establish what kind of relationship they were going to have. I'm saying it's bad because it's bad writing. It took all the complexities, the nuances, and everything that made Naruto good and just shattered and just threw it out the window for a stupid ending that will lead into a movie I'm never gonna watch. These two chapters killed any and all interest I had in Naruto. I mean, the war arc and everything after the Invasion of Pain arc, that made me sick. That made my interest in Naruto sick. The war arc made it sick because it dragged on for so fucking long. But I stuck with it. When Madara came back, I actually had hope because he was built up to be the final boss, and then ass-pulling Kaguya out of nowhere. Out of literally fucking nowhere. That, I almost gave up because it really got ridiculous at that point. But these last two chapters, it's dead. Any semblance of love and respect I had for Naruto, and by extension Kishimoto, is dead and buried. And I will never pick this manga up, nor will I recommend it to anyone because of this ending, because it felt like Kishimoto copped out because either due to pressure from the fans or pressure from his publishing company or whatever, pressure from anyone, or maybe he just did it for the money. But this has ruined Naruto as a whole. I can no longer look at a Naruto video game or a Naruto t-shirt or anything related to Naruto without thinking about these last two chapters and how they pretty much shit on everything. Sasuke can do all the crimes in the world. Not only does he gets forgiven for it, but he also gets the woman he really didn't deserve. Sakura went from a powerful, independent, and talented ninja to a housewife. Naruto gave up on the woman of his dreams, and he settled for Hinata. That's the point of it with Naruhina. He settled for Hinata. He didn't pick Hinata. He settled for her. He's the hero of the goddamn world at this point. He could have had any bitch that he wanted. He just settled for a Hinata. It's like, oh crap. Woman of my dreams is left with the guy who basically ruined everything. Hey, Hinata, you wanna fuck? Naruto-kun, of course, let me spread my legs. Yeah, whatever. It's a shame, really. But thankfully, I have One Piece to fall back on. And right now, the current Dressrosa arc is some of the best that Oda has done in a long time. I mean, his work is always good, but this is just some good stuff. The current arc and the flashback during that current arc have all been top notch from top to bottom. And if you're a Naruto fan out there who hasn't experienced One Piece, get into it. Get into it. Jump into it and read it and watch the taste of Kishimoto's dick out of your mouth after he skull fucked the fandom. So that's what I'm gonna do. And One Piece Film Z came out. It has already been dubbed, and I've already watched it, and the dub is fantastic. So I got that to fall back on. So if you need a recommendation to watch something else now that Naruto is done, or read something else, I can suggest a few. Noblesse, got a high school, The Breaker. Toriko is somewhat decent. Sugeki Sisoma, it's a cooking manga, but it's really good. Let's see, what else? The Grappler Baki series is nice and over the top if you like that sort of thing. Dr. K, I'd recommend that simply because the main protagonist is basically a what if Kenshiro was a doctor. That's basically it, and it's awesome. Kingdom. Check out Kingdom. Kingdom is a man's manga. The battles are epic. It's just basically a retelling of the romance of the Three Kingdoms. It's a dramatization of the Warring States era for China before it was unified. It is an awesome manga. The battles are intense and bloody. Some of the most interesting and well-written characters you'll ever meet. I highly recommend this book. I highly recommend this. Fairy Tail, I'm so on it. You can read if you really want something good, read Rave Master by the same guy. The same guy who does Fairy Tail, he did Rave Master. Check out Rave Master. It's great. But yeah, so all I have to say is to all those Naruhina and Sakura fans out there, you won. Congratulations. You got your hollow, soulless, sad little couples only because Kishimoto pulled an ending and completely negated all of their development just to make you guys happy. So I hope you're happy. As for you Naruto Sakura fans out there, I would suggest looking up an artist named Lady GT. She is an amazing fan artist whose artwork is dead on for Kishimoto's work, except she's a rabid Naruto Sakura fan. So if you have time, check her out. Also has the word fan fiction, because after this, there are going to be a lot of people pissed off by this ending. And they're going to try to rewrite it. I know I was. I can't write Naruto fanfiction for shit. At this point, I'm tempted. I was tempted to write something, but like I said, this ending killed any interest for Naruto in it. So I'm just going to focus on my own work. Check out my work. If you're a fan of Pearl shipping or any other things, just check me out on fanfiction.net. I'm Max Acorn. Just check my stuff out. It's right there. But for us Naruto Sakura fans, we still have fan fiction. We still have the memories of when Sakura was still a well-written, very well-developed character before she became a cum dump for Sasuke and his kids. I would like to remember Sakura that way. So, as much as this pissed me off, I'm not going to hate on Sakura. In the end, she's just a character. If you want someone to blame Kishimoto. Blame him for not knowing how to write romance. Blame him for not knowing how to properly have characters interact. Blame him for wiping out nearly 10 years of character development and story and plot in 2 chapters. All this is on Kishimoto's head. I'm not going to wish ill on the guy. I know there are a lot of people who would, but I'm not. He's just not worth it anymore. So those are my thoughts. Like, comment, subscribe. You know what the deal is. And if you like more of what you see, just leave me a comment, send me a message. I don't care. So, but I'm gonna go lay down after this because this medicine is kicking in after I eat some fish, and I'm gonna go sleep and dream of better things because after today, I'm gonna need a stiff drink. So, until then, shintigercurl signing off, and letting you know that Kishimoto, you fucked up.